box. So I've got Gretchen here. Gretchen runs a virtual assistant business. Welcome, Gretchen. I love VAs. I could not do anything without virtual assistants. It is a big leap when you finally realize that, you know what, you need to focus on your superpower and let other people do the same, or else it's going to cost you valuable time, energy, and money for you to try to figure that out and be at expert level that they are. So Gretchen, I'm so excited that you provide that service. Where are you located at, Gretchen? We got Austin here is where Francesca is, and she has an online children's boutique. All right, Francesca, wonderful. Are you using Google Analytics right now, Francesca? Let me know. All right, Shawnette, see you here too. All right, everybody, let's talk about how we can make better business decisions with analytics. It is very important that you find that question box, and if you need closed caption, this is how to do that. Right here, that is my Twitter handle where I'm hovering over, as well as to the right of that, that's my Instagram handle. If you want to hit me up on socials and connect there, I would love for you to do that too. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn like everybody else and a dozen other social sites. Let's see, my free time outside of Austin. Oh, and Rodan, oh, wonderful. Isn't it wonderful to have a mobile business? I mean, those of us who were already mobile and remote before everything happened in March 2020, we just hit the ground running while everybody else was still trying to figure out what a video call was, right? So, man, now look at this. Now we're all up to speed on this, but we need to do a better job measuring what we're doing. And in fact, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting that bottom line or getting you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. So that's what we're going to be talking about today as we talk about how you can make better business decisions, because there's a lot of data out there. I mean, I can Google, right? It's a noun and a verb, Google almost anything and find it, and or even just a little bit. I can Google anything and find even just a little bit of something. Some you can find pages and pages. So data is not the problem. We have lots of access to data. In fact, we know, I'm sure we can even think of names that pop up in our head of people that we know are super knowledgeable, but wouldn't know how to apply that worth being. So I always say knowledge is not powerful. Knowledge is not powerful until it is applied. So that's important, is how to apply the knowledge. And that is what data gives us here in analytics and insights. So we'll talk about what each of those mean. But when we look at data, it does have to be something a little bit novel when we're looking at our specific marketing. After all, we're a unique offering, right? We have a unique product, a unique service, a unique solution. We also need to know it's credible. Just because 2 people said so doesn't mean that it works across the board for everyone, unless those 2 people are our best customers. They're the only best customers we have. We only have 2 customers. Then that would be credible as far as this gives us a peek into what our customers are thinking. But we need more people, we need more information for it to be considered credible. And then, is it actionable? It's not just a great factoid. Remember what I said about knowledge is not powerful until it is applied, and we have to have action from that. So that's what true insights are, and that's what we're diving in today when we talk about making better business decisions. So to understand what each term means, first there's data. That's facts and statistics. You know, I can say, hey, 74% of people go to a mobile device first when they want to know, go, do, or buy. That's a fact or statistic. But analytics are the patterns and trends that you see. So if you see that of your customers, right, you see most of them are coming in on an Android device. In fact, 80% of them are coming on an Android device. And of the 80% that come in on that Android device, over 70%, so a good majority of them, will leave their email address with you or buy from you. Now that's a pattern and a trend. So while this 74% is a great factoid to know that people are using mobile before everything else, but the analytics, the patterns and trends really show you what you can look at and now have those insights and start taking action on that. Knowing that if I knew 80% of my best customers came in through a mobile device, through an Android, everything I would design would be for Android. And then if I knew 70% of those 80% bought or did the success action that I wanted on the site, so you're going to hear me say that's conversion. In e-commerce, that's normally sales, but it could be that somebody leaves their email address, watches a video, they sign up for something, they download a PDF. Those are conversion events, successful events that you want to happen in your website, that you're tracking and deem that those mean that you're getting closer to your goal. So I can take now and have some success events because of those insights, knowing that about my customer. If there's 80% on Android, 70% of them will, let's say, leave their email address, then I know everything, even when they download a PDF, it's got to look perfect on an Android, and I will set everything up that way because I don't want to not have a great experience for my best customer. So we'll use that data to make some good decisions when we can look at the analytics and the insights. Today, we're going to talk about Google Analytics. We'll take a deeper dive in there. Now, I'd love to know how many of you are using analytics. So I'll look in the question box for that. So great, everybody. And I see a few people have come in while I was doing the introduction. So if you do not find that question box, it's really important that you do find that question box, okay? When you find that question box, in fact, let me see, I'm gonna timestamp it right now as you all are responding about using Google Analytics. So if you have responded in the question box, then everybody who's responded during this timestamp will get a copy of today's recording as well as a copy of today's slides. Now, do know that it takes about 24 hours for that to render, so it's not going to happen tonight. It'll be tomorrow. So tonight, do not think, well, God, she forgot about me. I did not. It's coming tomorrow. The system actually automatically does that as soon as I timestamp something. So I just did that. So let me see. Alicia, you are using analytics. Perfect, Alicia. What's your favorite thing to look at in analytics? I'd love to know. Good morning. I don't know about analytics. Yep, absolutely, Dora. That's what we're going to cover too. And Cynthia, no worries. Yep, absolutely. So not to worry. I am not going to go so far and so fast because I always like to make sure that the foundation you have is solid. A lot of people jump into these different tools because they are free and set them up, but they're not really optimized. And I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the tool and that you're not wasting your time. So I do lay that foundation first. We're also going to talk about how you can find answers with reports. So there are reports within Google Analytics, but you need to know what the questions are that you need answered. And that's the most important part when you go into analytics, or you could become overwhelmed that there's so much data to look at there. We'll also talk a bit about advanced features, but remember I said we're going to lay the groundwork first. And then I will talk about how you can connect Google Analytics with Google Ads. I am not going to go over Google Ads because everything that I'm talking about today is 100% free, and we can learn more about that when we talk about learning the basics of Google Ads in that particular session. And then of course I end everything with a recap because you've got to take action on it to make your time here an investment, and then also what free resources, additional free resources are available. Okay, so let me see. Using but not keeping up, I understand that. Want to? Absolutely. So I'm going to give you some steps that will help it make it easier for you to do this, as well as still take care of your business on a daily basis. Alicia, your favorite is seeing what pages are getting the most traffic. Oh, I love to see that too. I do. So let's go ahead and go in. I am a data geek. You'll find that out about me. I do love to look at that, but I don't spend all day in that either because there's still business to take care of. So yeah, actually, and how do you show this to your clients? So Alicia says, do you need more help in reporting side to show our clients? Absolutely, because they need to know that to make good business decisions. So let's talk about analytics. Remember to comment in the question box if you want a copy of today's slides and today's recording. It will send it to the email that you registered with, so you don't need to put your email address. Just let us know there so that it's picking up during this timestamp. So Google Analytics is free. It is a tool that you connect with your website to find out how people act on your website. Now, this is very important. So there are other tools that check how the search engine sees you. This tells you how people actually spend time and what they consume and where they go on your website. Why is this important? Well, if you think back in the day when we would have physical stores, right? Or if I had a physical retail store and people would come in, let's say I had a shop and people would come in all morning long and go to aisle 1 and aisle 3, and then they would just leave. They would never purchase anything. 1, 3, leave. 1, 3, leave. That's my entire morning as I'm sitting here wondering, gosh, why aren't they buying anything? But then in the afternoon, all of a sudden people start going from aisle 1 to aisle 4 to aisle 3, they pick up something and they buy. 1, 4, 3, buy. 1, 4, 3, buy. Now I've got questions. I have questions is the person who shops my store in the afternoon different from the person who shops in the morning? Is there something on aisle 4 that is encouraging them to pick up something on aisle 3? Is there something on aisle 1 that causes them to question buying something? I'm going to ask all of those questions. Well, imagine that's your website and they come in on the first page and they go to the third page and they leave. First, third lead. You've been working your butt off getting them to come in from socials, doing email marketing, running ads. They're coming in on page 1. They go to page 3 and leave. You look at page 3 and say, what's wrong with this? What's going on? Who is this person? Do I really understand who our best customer is? And then in the afternoon, if they go to 1, page 4, page 3, and leave, but now they purchase something, or they do something, they watch a video or download a PDF, now we're going to want to know exactly what's happening, right? So we're going to want to take a good look into this. Google Analytics gives us the opportunity to see what search terms people use. Now, that's really important. You heard me talk about that yesterday for first day of boot camp, that we can't just go from our industry speak or what's in our head. So I was working with a lot of credit unions and banks, and they thought that people, when they were looking for a loan, would look for a loan originator. And I told them, unless somebody was hunting for that job, no one is looking for a loan originator. They are asking questions and they are searching for, what does my credit score need to be? How much do I need to have put down in a house? What kind of work experience do I need to have? Do I need to purchase a car first? What does it take to be able to buy a home? They're asking all of those questions. None of them are using those terms. And remember what I said yesterday, Google's algorithm, that secret sauce that decides where you show up in organic search, is 3 pillars. 1 is relevancy. How well are you matching what people are searching for? Number 2 is your prominence score. What is the quality of your site? Do you have reviews? Have you responded to your reviews? When was the last time you updated your site? Do you have video in your site? Do people watch video on your site? That's your prominence or your quality score. So there's your relevancy, your prominence, and then your distance. How far are you from the person who's searching? Because everything that Google does is to give the person who's searching the best experience in finding information. So you can also see within analytics demographic information to know a little bit more about the physicality or the geography of your customer, but you'll get a little bit of psychographics. For example, if I wanted to see who bought, let's say, who owns an SUV and maybe has a family, so small children in a house, and a degree, who bought recently or shopped our site within the last 3 months, that information is available there, and I can see that through the demographic and the other analysis and behavior analytics within Google Analytics. I can also understand content. Are people reading everything, or do they go to that page 1 and they bounce off, they leave, so they have no interest, or there's a disconnect between what they see and what sent them there to our site? Or are they consuming it and really looking? They're watching those videos, so they're watching them all the way through, so I know that's information that's helpful to them. And then it gives us a chance to evaluate which channels, because in our gut, we may feel like, you know what, Instagram and TikTok are really bringing me all the visibility that I need. But are they really? Are you seeing that happen? Are people coming to your site from those socials? Do they go back to the socials after they've been to your site and get your social credibility, so they're looking for social proof? Do they come back? So does social provide that lift? You can track all that in analytics. Or do they go to your competitor? So you'll know exactly what channels are actually bringing things to you. So if you'll go to this URL, you'll see it here at the top of this column here on the left-hand side in the bottom left-hand corner. It's g.co/analytics. Go there, and if you are already logged into your free personal Gmail account or free Google account, all you need to do is click sign into analytics, and it'll remember your credentials, and you can now start for free. If you don't have a Google account, you will need to set that up, but that's 100% free. So let me know if you need any help doing that. Just let me know here. All right, perfect, actually, absolutely, everybody. I'm glad you commented there so you could get a copy of today's recording. Perfect. Now, do know that in October 2020, we did launch something known as Google Analytics 4. So be aware, there's 2 different versions of analytics. There's Google Analytics. The traditional is universal analytics. You'll hear people marketing speak, often we'll call it UA, Universal Analytics. Google Analytics UA. That was the original analytics. The new one that launched in October 2020 is GA4, Google Analytics 4. Now, the first thing to know is the 2 are totally separate. So you will hear people use words, we even use it here, I think in the slide, saying, migrate your data over to Google Analytics 4. There's no migration. When you connect Google Analytics 4, the data starts from the data collection starts from the day you connect it. Not anything before. It doesn't pick up what happened before. So this is something I know that is kind of scary. I know I come from an e-commerce background and I think, oh, this is scary. I actually run both on all the sites that I work with because I don't want to miss or skip any moment of having data, and I do want to have access to all of that. So do know we have Google Analytics Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4. The two of them look a little bit different. And the reason that we went to Google Analytics 4 is because we know that people use more than one device. I might start where I'm here waiting at the bank and I'm using my mobile device. I get home, I throw it off to my smart TV. I sit down and I'm going to sit on the couch and I bring up my iPad and I'm going to work on it there. But it's still all me. I'm not three different people. I'm one person that uses three or several different devices. And it does do a good job tracking all of that. So see, you see it here, to migrate, it's not really migrating. You're going to set that up and you can keep both running at the same time. Do Google Analytics Universal Analytics is not going to go away till July 2023. You've probably, if you're using any analytics, have seen that warning show up in your Google Analytics dashboard, but not to worry, still keep it on. And then you can also add Google Analytics 4. You will see when you're in there, it actually has a setup assistant and it's pretty intuitive. You can walk through and figure out and actually answer the questions, and it'll walk you through how to set everything up, okay? If you need any support though, you might want to screenshot this actual slide, since right there at the bottom left-hand corner is the support URL. And if you need any support, that's who you reach out to, or your Google partner can also assist you in connecting with the Google team. But do screenshot that because you'll get a copy of that tomorrow, right? But you might want to take action on it today. Now, there are reports within Google Analytics to look at. So you're going to look at the report snapshot when you're in Google Analytics 4, and it gives you an opportunity to see exactly what somebody's doing on your site, how they behave, what they're doing, what content they actually like and they're spending time with. So we'll talk more about how you can find answers in reports. I would love to give you a little scenario that we'll walk through for the rest of the session here, this bootcamp session, and that is with Eva and Ricky. So if we think of Eva and Ricky, they have a t-shirt shop, and forever they've run it by their gut instincts, and we as small business owners have done a really super job at doing that, running our business on gut instincts and making those good gut level decisions. Unfortunately, what got us here may not get us to the next level, and it may not be what we need to grow. So for Eva and Ricky, or Eva and Ricky, they thought they needed a new t-shirt design that would help them elevate sales, and they also thought that they had returning customers coming. So let me see here, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little warning there. Okay, so they had they had assumptions about their customers. Just making sure everybody can hear okay. If you can let me know in the question box, I'd love that, because I just got a little slow or spotty connection warning. And they thought they could cut prices, that would bring in more people. Okay, perfect, Charlotte, thank you for letting me know. All right, thank you, Rabindra. All right, everything's good. So all of this was guesswork for them. That's what they thought, but they haven't looked at their information and their analytics. So the first part in using analytics is to outline your goals. I know this is not the sexy part at all, but marketing is not sexy. It is consistent, persistent, hard work. So first, in order for you to know what questions that you need analytics to answer for you, or you need to find the information in analytics, you need to know, what are you trying to achieve? This will help you then understand exactly what questions you need responded or you need answered to make those good business decisions, and then where the gaps are. All right, so now because you have these questions and you wonder, I wonder if my customer there's more men than women, or are they college graduates or not college graduates? Do they live in Texas or do they live in Oklahoma? If I've got those questions, then I have a gap, saying that I don't know exactly where my best customer is from. Is it Texas or Oklahoma? So I'll look at the reports to fill that gap, and I'll look at a specific report instead of spending all day there just being amazed by all the data that's in there and hoping that I can apply it. Hope is wonderful to have, but it is a very poor strategy. I'm going to go very specific in. In fact, as you set your goals, they have to be SMART tested. When I say SMART tested, there's 5 components of SMART testing that you see in front of you. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, or time bound. So they do need to be specific. If I say I want more money, well, 1 penny is more money. What specifically does more money look like for you? And is it measurable? When I say more money, again, that could be anything. But if I say, I want to see a 10% increase, I would like to see a $5,000 increase in sales this month, that now becomes measurable. Is it attainable? Okay, I want to make $1 million. I want to make $1 million. Well, great. Last year, you made $10,000. This year, you want to make $1 million. What are you doing differently now this year to help get you to that goal? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. And we want to know if it's attainable. So only you know that, because you know your actual numbers and your history with the business. Is it relevant? Now, I will hear people as they set goals say, Maria, I want 100 people to like me on Instagram, which is great if that's what you want to do, but how does that actually pertain to the bottom line or to your goals, right? There's a lot of vanity metrics, you've heard that talked about in social media, that make us feel good but have nothing to do with moving the business or getting us the social proof that we need. So for example, when I hear people say, okay, Maria, I want 100 people to like us on Instagram, because my Instagram link in my bio goes directly to a page on my site where they can download information, and to get that, they need to leave their email address. So when 100 people like me on Instagram, 50, half of those, 50 of them will come and leave their email address. All 50 of them. So 100% of the 50 that come, I'll leave their email address. And I know that social is rented land. So if that goes down, that platform goes down for any reason, I have no way to stay in contact with people. I need their email address, and it's part of my strategy. Now it's relevant. If I can say I put a post up, of the 50 people that like it, 25 come to the site. Of the 25 that come to the site, 20 will buy or leave their email address. Now at least it's relevant towards my business goals. And is it time sensitive? Do I want more of those 100 followers in 5 years, or do I want it this next month, this next quarter? What is that time frame that this needs to happen? Again, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, or time sensitive. Every goal has to be smart tested and have all 5 components. Miss one, and you could very much miss the mark, which could cost you significant time, energy, and money. That's why it's really important to smart test every single goal: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So as we look at Ricky and Eva's goal, they wanted to decrease their shopping cart abandonment rate to under 60% in the next quarter. So let's talk about what that is. Shopping cart abandonment rate is when somebody online, so this is an e-commerce term, but they're online and they put so many things in their cart and then they just leave. They never check out, they never buy. So yes, this is money to them. That's very relevant if they can get less than 60%. So right now, 60%, 6 out of 10 people that come to their site leave, fill up their basket, and just leave and never check out. So if they can even get 2 or 3 of those people, that means more money for them, which helps that bottom line. And then they want to do it in the next quarter. So this is very specific. Is it measurable? Yes, because you can look at your abandonment rate within your Google Analytics. Is it relevant? Yes, because they get more people to leave less abandoned carts, they make more money. Is it time sensitive, or is it, let's say, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, very relevant? And is it time sensitive? Yes, within the next quarter. So this does pass the SMART test. Do all of your goals pass the SMART test? When you look at your goals, your leads that you want, your appointments, all of this, do they pass the SMART test? And do you always take a look at SMART test your goals? Because I've seen so many small businesses fail or go under because they do not SMART test their goals. Those who do make it to the profitable stage are often and always SMART testing goals. And when I say often, it's usually on a monthly, daily basis, even weekly, that they're testing that, okay? So for you, do you SMART test your goals? I know I spent a lot of time with that, and it seems like the unsexy part, but without it, we're going to go into analytics and just have it be a huge time suck. So now, because we know those goals, we can start asking questions, all right? Because we know what the goals are, do we know who our audience is? Do we know who our best customer is? Now, your target audience, I've sat across from a lot of small businesses who say, but Maria, I serve anybody, everybody, and somebody. And they don't realize that's hidden speak for that they reach their second cousin, nobody. If you try to get anybody, everybody, and somebody. Or they'll say, you know what, Maria, I can serve anybody who can fog a mirror, which is also code for I have no idea who I serve, so I'm hoping I just catch somebody. And that's a spray and pray kind of mentality. Who is your best customer? If you have great customers now, talk to them. Ask them, find out a little bit more, get into a relationship with that best customer, because people will leave businesses before they leave relationships, and it's okay to talk to them even when you're not trying to sell them anything. It's good to have those relationships with them. So who is that best customer? If you don't have customers yet, look at your competitors or look at friends and family members who do business with competitors. You heard me yesterday talk about the fact that go read your competitors' reviews. Read their reviews, because in their own words, they're telling you what matters to them, but you can use their words instead of our industry speak and be relevant to them. but you can also see where the gaps are in working with a competitor that might be a sweet spot of opportunity for you. Then also engage. Can your customers, can people visiting your site find the information that they need in their decision journey? That's the heavy lifting that we need to do. We all need to be experts in our customer and be able to connect the dots between what we provide and what their need is. And then, do we convert? Remember what I said, conversion is a success action that you want somebody to do. So it doesn't necessarily mean money. If I'm a nonprofit, it could be that I'm looking for a volunteer, could be that I'm looking for a donor or a sponsor, or it could be that you're branding yourself on your site and you're just looking for people who are asking questions and downloading your information or leaving their email address, but that's a conversion event, a successful event that's happening on your site. And then, are you sustaining, are you keeping customers? Because we know it costs us less to keep and do business and increase the value, increase what they spend of a current customer than it is to start at ground zero with know, like, and trust and try to build that with somebody who does not know you. Okay? Okay, perfect, everybody. I'm glad you can hear. Perfect, everyone. So knowing what your questions are, knowing what your goal is, will actually help you know where your gaps are and what your questions are. So for example, where are people searching for you? Do you know where they spend time? I ask people, I do not assume, because I am not my best customer. I will not always be hanging out where I need to. I was working with a dog, so a pet industry company, and that he could serve everybody who has a dog, but his best customers were women ages between the age of 35 and 54 years old. So he wanted to know everything about where they spend time and where they search. What he found in looking at his analytics is most of the time, their time online was spent at 2:20 in the morning. So he didn't even schedule any of his social posts to show up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that he couldn't serve everybody who's a dog owner, but he didn't want to miss that best customer that gave him the most pleasure and profit. So who's your audience? Who's that audience? And it doesn't mean that you can't serve anybody, everybody, and somebody, but they're gravy. As long as you can get the bulk of everybody to be your best customer and everything on your site speaks to them, then when they come to your site, they think, oh my gosh, this person gets me. That's the kind of reaction that you want, because when you can articulate and you can present things better than they can even realize what their problem is, they see you as the solution provider and a trusted advisor. Now, what are the engagement questions? Where do people go to find you? How do they look? Are they going out to their social feed, to Facebook, and saying, hey, everybody, do you know pediatric dentists? Do you know what they do or where they spend time online? Are they on Pinterest? Now, I'm not a Pinterest person. I feel like I get in there and I lose all of my day. Same thing with TikTok. But I work with a lot of businesses that do a lot of TikTok business and a lot of Pinterest business. In fact, there was a business I was talking to yesterday that they do so well on their Pinterest, it drives it to their Amazon store, and they're doing a lot of sales, but it's all coming from Pinterest. So for you, it's important for you to understand who that best customer is and who they interact with online. Then, of course, what is it that they need to be able to get along with their decision journey? Remember what I said about being experts in our customers? So what's that decision path look like? What information will be helpful to them? And how can you help them avoid pitfalls? Because if you can do that and you really position yourself as that trusted advisor, that is really a sweet spot to be at, because if you're there, now anything that they need, they come to you and you develop that relationship, which really increases customer loyalty and the average order value, that AOV, how much you're making per customer. Plus, it's just wonderful to do. It's a really, really good feeling when you help people, and that helps you sustain customers, because are you just talking to them only when you send them a bill or when they need to re-sign up for something, or are you in relationship and really understanding what they need and how you can best serve them so they look at you as that great provider that you really are and you want to be? So for example, knowing those questions now and knowing what area they fall into will give us an idea to see what reports we need to look at in Google Analytics. So real-time reports really tell us what's happening right now in real time. Let's say we sent an email piece right now. We're doing some email marketing. Then I would look at real-time reports to see if it had any effect. Let's say I released an email about 30 minutes ago. I'd like to see, did it drive traffic to our site? Is it acquisition? Where do they come from? This is one of my favorite reports to look at within Google Analytics, because I like to know, did they come from organic search, which means they're searching just for that industry, or did they come from direct search, which means they put your name in there? Or was it from an ad, or did they come from Facebook? Did they come from my LinkedIn profile link or my Instagram link? Where did they come from? Or my Google business profile? How or where are they interacting? Are they reading your online reviews? Do they watch a video? Do they read a little bit of specs and details? Is that what they're doing? So you're giving them the information that they need to make that decision to do business with you, or to be able to ask questions to do business with you. What are they purchasing? Okay, monetization report. If you're an e-commerce site, this is really important because you want to know, what are they purchasing? Do they like all of this? And even though you think, man, this is the most fantastic product I have, nobody's buying it, they're letting you know that while you think it's fantastic, it's not useful to them. Remember, we're not our best customers. How frequently are they going to your site? Do you have great opportunity to keep them there and to showcase to them all of the different services and products you can provide to them? And do you know your customers? So those are the reports you can see in Google Analytics, and I'll show you exactly where you can see those. Now, in the screenshot, you'll see that it's universal analytics, so that's the original analytics that I'm showing you right now. You can see this is a real-time report. It is showing us exactly where people are coming from. So they're coming from email, so I probably did an email campaign. And I can see exactly what pages they're looking at too. I was working with a company, in fact, that had, right before back to school, they had an item that was actually featured on the Today Show. So as it was featured on the Today Show, we could watch this real-time report and see how it flowed from when it was aired in the East Coast all the way through Central, mid to the mountain to the West Coast. So it was really cool to see all of that happen, and you can see all of these within your analytics. So that's real time, what's happening right now, who's coming in here. If I did a Facebook post with a good call to action, if I just did a TikTok, I would probably go here into here. This is the real-time report within Google Analytics 4, just to see where people are coming from and get to know my customers better. The acquisition report, so that's the real-time report. The acquisition report is, where do they come from? Remember, you heard me say organic. That's when somebody's searching for your industry. So let's say they're looking for t-shirt shops for Eva and Ricky's, our scenario that we're playing with, okay? So let's say then they put Eva and Ricky's t-shirt shop. Well, if they put the actual name, that's direct search. So organic search is industry and kind of around that industry, but then a direct search is actually putting your name in. It could be a referral. Let's say somebody posted a blog post about you and put a link there, then they referred the business to you. It could be CPC. That is an ad. That's CPC stands for cost per click or cost per call. So that's an ad that actually drove the traffic there. This is email marketing. Affiliate means that somebody is working with you. They put it on their site, but you give them a little percentage or a little spiff or bonus or commission for them actually putting the information on your site. So you can see, excuse me, exactly which one's working well for you. Give me just a sec. Big gas bear, sorry about that. Okay, any questions? Because I've gone through quite a bit and I'm going to go in deeper, but I want to pause for a minute just to see if you have any questions, because you guys have been quiet for a while. I want to make sure that everything's okay and that you're getting what you need from this. Okay, no questions, perfect. All right, the engagement report shows you what people are doing on your site, how much time they spend. Now, do understand, on average, when people are on Amazon, they spend 17 minutes on Amazon. So we know the amount of time that people spend on a site, the more likely they are to become a customer, the more likely they are to come back. And that is what we want to look at, but we also want to know what they're spending time on. What pages or what things, what items? Is it a video that they're looking at? Is it a photo? And we can look at that through our engagement report and really see exactly what people are interested in. You heard Alicia talking about it earlier when she said she loves to see which pages get the most traffic and what people are doing on the pages. That's what you look in your engagement report. And then, of course, monetization is just finding out who's buying and who's buying what, because now I can start looking for those patterns saying, you know what, it's women ages 35 to 54-year-olds that are doing the most purchasing at 2 o'clock in the morning. So for you, are you looking at these reports? Again, it's if you have those questions when you set up your goal and to be able to achieve those goals and make them inevitable, do you have the answers that you need to be able to do that? So retention, again, is how loyal your customers are. Are they coming back? So you can see who are the new visitors to your site and who are returning. That's really important too, because the language on your site is going to be different if you have a lot of customers returning and who are reordering and referring friends. That's a lot different from somebody brand new where you have to start from the beginning. Just like today, when I started the webinar, I spent more time yesterday talking about how you can find the question box than I did today, because this is day 2 of the session, but I did recognize there were some new people within the actual webinar room. And so I did spend a little bit of time, but it was half of the time that I actually spent last time. It's the same thing for you. When you look at the content of your site, it's going to be a little bit different as far as its direction and the tone of it when you've got a returning customer compared to somebody who's brand new. Let's see. Okay, I don't have the engagement or monetization tabs. Francesca, that's actually in Google Analytics 4. Do you have Google Analytics 4 set up? So this is Google Analytics 4 that you're seeing here. And I actually encourage people to do both. Even if you're starting brand new, still do both, because you can get robust information from both. Alicia, I can't seem to find where you set up monthly reporting on GA4 Analytics. Auto email to me. Does that not exist in GA4? You know what, let me, Alicia, because that has moved around a couple of times. So when you get a copy of today's recording, if you'll reply back to me, I can look that, I'll have that answer for you already. It just has been changing a lot. I mean, Google Analytics 4 is still going through a lot of changes, and that's why I still encourage you to have Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4, because all of that changes quite rapidly. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, just make sure you reply to me, because I may not remember this here, especially when I close it out and I lose all of these comments here within this actual platform, okay? So demographics, who is visiting your site, and then Victoria, let me see. Oh, Francesca, make sure do you have Google Analytics 4 set up? Just let me know in the question box. If questions we have about are both needed. Okay, so you don't. That's why you don't see that those monetization reports, is because it's only in Google Analytics 4. That's not in Universal Analytics. That is one of the difference between the two. Now in Universal Analytics, you're going to look at conversion report is what you'll look at, Francesca, and you'll look at e-commerce. So conversion report, when you click on that, it'll actually expose a drop-down menu that says e-commerce. You'll click on there. All right, to be able to see the average order value, your abandoned cart rate, your abandoned checkout rate. And if anybody wants me to show them that, I will stay after. I'm going to be respectful of your time and finish on time. But if you have lengthy questions, I do turn off the recording for that point to keep your privacy, but also it's a benefit to everybody that's here. And if you have lengthier questions, I will stay to the end. As long as somebody has questions, I'll stay. Deal? All right, so we have our demographics. We have a chance to know a little bit more about who our customer is, who's that target audience. So when we look at Eva and Ricky, they thought their top audience was 35 to 44-year-old and primarily female, that the primary driver of traffic to their site were ads, so that they thought that was bringing people into their website. And then also they felt like most people were repeat customers, not first-time customers. That's what they felt in their gut. But when we looked at the numbers, right, because numbers, right, will really tell the story, we can see that their top audience are actually men 25 to 34 years old. And they're getting a lot of organic traffic, which means they've got great brand recognition. So if I'm looking at their marketing budget, I would say, you know what, you guys already have great brand recognition and people are looking around your industry. So perhaps I wouldn't spend so much on that, or maybe spend more on your actual brand name to really get that name out there, so people are doing more direct search. Remember, organic is searching the industry or around the topic. Direct search is their name, which gives a signal if people are using direct search that you're doing a great job with branding, you have great brand equity, you may not need to spend as much in branding when you're making marketing decisions. And of course, most purchases are from first-time visitors. So the whole language and all the content on the site is a lot different for somebody brand new coming in who may need a little bit more guidance, okay? So as we looked at the advanced features within Google Analytics, you can see there's things called dimensions. So what are dimensions? Okay, let's say that I'm looking for people who, let's say a dimension could be that I'm looking for people who are in the state of Texas who bought from me. And I want to know in the state of Texas who bought from me in Austin, in Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and in Lubbock. Okay, so I'm taking a look at that. So those are dimensions. They're different filters that I'm putting in to see exactly a little bit more about the information and get more detail on the information. So you can put a first dimension being that I want to see not just in the United States, but the state of Texas, and I want to see those specific cities. So you see that here, that I could have a dimension be even people who are shopping organically, who found me organically, and on what device they're using. Are they using an iPad, a smart TV? Are they using an Android? So I can find out a little bit more and get closer to my customer and understanding who they are and what's important to them. Segments are, let's say okay, this is my group of Android users. Okay, they're women ages 35 to 44 who use Androids. So I might set that up as a segment. Those are a certain group of people that I know buy from us on a monthly basis, and I put them into a segment. So that's the difference between the two. You have dimensions, which are the filters that you can put in, and you can put in a couple of filters to filter through your analytics and get some good data. And then you have segments. Once you have that good data, you could segment people and even find out how they behave. So maybe I don't want to know how many people in the state of Texas in these 5 cities actually bought from me, but I'd rather know my best customer is somebody who is in Lubbock, Texas. So I want to know in Lubbock, Texas, it could be a segment that I set up that I'm just going to send out or look at particular behavior and information of people from Lubbock. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me know, because that's a lot of information I shared with you just within 2 slides. So let me know in the question box. Is there a self-paced free Google Analytics course? Yes, Francesca, there is. So now know that you're going to get a copy of today's slides and recording, and you can speed me up, slow me down wherever you need to, and that'll be in 24 hours. But there's a self-paced course. It's in Google Skill Shop. Ooh, sorry, I tried to say that too fast. g.co/skill shop, SKILLSHOP. And you can go in there. There's a certification process you can go through, but you don't have to do that. You can go there just to elevate your knowledge. And if you go in there, now you can do all of the little videos and the guides to really get a good understanding of Google Analytics. And I highly encourage you to do that, because Google Analytics 4 is definitely a different bird or different creature. Now, there are also explorations that you can use to start building those segments and dimensions. This gives you a chance to look at your data and see really what some of those are, what relevant data is. So for example, if mobile traffic, you can look for that and decide, okay, I want to make that a segment. Or I'd like to see of mobile traffic, how many came from the state of Texas or from the city of Lubbock. Okay, so you can do that within your explorations. You're very welcome. All right, now how you can use Google Analytics with Google Ads. Remember, everything that I'm talking about today is for free, but I like this because it talks about linking Google Analytics with ads. And I actually encourage you to link Google Analytics with everything. All right, and the reason I do that is because Google's the #1 search engine in the world, and it became #1 because the information people are looking for is correct in there. And the only way it's correct is if you put in your correct business information. So what Google Analytics does, it confirms that you're the owner once you link it, and it verifies. And it really is a good foundation to use all of the other Google tools like Google Ads, YouTube, Google Search Console, Google Sites, even Google Merchant Center. It now, because you already linked analytics, immediately confirms that. And what that does for the algorithm in the search engine is every tool linked together is telling Google this information is correct. When Google feels confident that the information is correct, now you will show up higher in search, which means that you have a better opportunity to show up in the first page of an organic Google search. Know that every page, every search result page gives you 10 organic search results, and people will only look at the first page of Google. So you have to show up there. Even better if you show up several times, like it's your site, your blog post, one of your social posts, maybe you at a ribbon cutting, and then it's another blog that you did, or your YouTube channel. If it's all about you, you really have positioned yourself as an expert in your industry, and we all want to do business with experts, right? So that is why you would want to link that. Plus, it also helps bring down the cost of your ads. I see a lot of people running Google Ads who link it with nothing. I actually link Google Ads with Google Analytics and your Google business profile, because if it can learn from those tools, then it brings down the costs I'm spending per click. Google's ad auction really determines how the price is of every time somebody clicks on your ad, and I want to bring it down by truly understanding who are the people who are looking for the information, who are in my best target audience. So you can link that together within the administrative area of Google Analytics. So you'll do that, you'll be in the administration area, and you'll see right here that opportunity to just click there, and it will link the account, especially if you're logged in already to your Google account or the account associated with your Google Analytics. It's going to pick that up and verify you pretty quickly. We've covered quite a bit, right? And I know you probably feel like you were drinking from the fire hose, and there's a lot of information to delve into there. And we've really just scraped the surface. So where you can go from here is really outline your goals. I know it is not the sexy part at all. A lot of people are ready for the, hey, you know, just tell me the report, tell me this and that. But without goals, this is just a waste of time, the rest of this, and energy and money. So you need to know that this is a system that you can put into place, which is outlining your goals. Then from there, what goals do you know you need additional information to be able to make those inevitable? That causes you to ask questions. Now you can choose the different tools that can answer those questions, like Google Analytics, which will answer the question of how people behave on your site. And now you can measure those results. You can segment them if you need to, or filter with different dimensions, and get answers to be able to make good business decisions with. Now you can also, I told Francesca about the Google Skills Shop, but you can go on to YouTube. If you look at the lower left-hand corner here, you can go to youtube.com/growwithgoogle, and there's a lot of information here too. Plus, like I said, you'll get a copy of today's recording just because you've commented in the question box when I timestamp that. And then you can also take a really deep dive. If you yourself want to be somebody who really understands data analytics, you can go here to this URL at the bottom left-hand corner, and you will actually apply to get your career certificate. Do know that if you're a business with an EIN number, that you yourself and any of your team members or staff members, employees, you can also have them sign up to get this free career certificate. Now, scholarships like this are only available till 2023. So if you're interested, I would screenshot that and apply immediately. And you might want to take a really deep dive in analytics, or maybe you want it for your actual personnel file. You want to show that you really do have and understand analytics. Understand these career certificates are recognized by 3,000 different educational institutions and also businesses too. So you have access to that. And then of course, you have access to the entire Grow with Google training library. If you'll go here to the site, let us know if you need us to come back for anything else. Get with your Google partner who invited you and let them know that you would like me to come back again, and I'm happy to. Again, these are the Google partners who did do all the heavy lifting and hard work to make sure this information is available to you. And of course, we still have more, right? So we have tomorrow's boot camp, which I referred to earlier, which is learn the basics of Google Ads. So we'll be doing that the same time, but tomorrow, and it is the final session of our boot camp. This has been our local business boot camp to help you get more visibility and validity in growing your business online. And I'm excited to be a part of it. So I know you may have questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.